Introducing today's officials, the referee is Matt Franks. The senior assistant referee is James Coney. The junior assistant referee is Mitchell Parkhill. And our fourth official is Aaron Johansson. Here now the starting lineup for this afternoon's opponent, Reno 1868 FC. Team captain, defender number 5, Zach Carroll. In goal, number 32, Matt Persano. Defender, number 11, Duke McClaw. Defender, number 6, Thomas Genjigin. Defender, number 16, Brent Richards. Midfielder, number 22, Jerry Kahebak. Midfielder, number 84, Seth Kasipli. Midfielder, number 26, Eric Capillo. Midfielder, number 21, Paul Marie. Forward, number 29, Antoine Openo. And forward, number 99, Brian Brown. Reno is coached by Ian Russell. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your home team, the Rangers. Team captain, number 2, Amir Sheedich. In goal, number 18, Aaron Dick. Defender, number 26, Jalen Lindsay. Defender, number 58, Dakota Barnathan. Defender, number 72, Justin Bilyeu. Midfielder, number 75, Juan Kuseig. Midfielder, number 13, Gianluca Busio. Midfielder, number 85, Felipe Hernandez. Forward, number 92, Haji Berry. Forward, number 36, Tyler Blackwood.
After a bit of a rough spell, the Swope Park Rangers find themselves on the outside looking in at the playoff picture. But there's still 10 games to go for the Rangers, and they have another big Western Conference opponent in town here today. It's the Swope Park Rangers versus Reno 1868 FC. Next. Good afternoon and welcome to a wet and rainy Kansas City, Kansas Children's Mercy Park, the site for today's Western Conference encounter between the Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868 FC. Joined by Sam Cobbs and I am Carter Augustine, who will be bringing you the action from today's match. And Sam, these are two teams with a lot at stake here as the Western Conference playoff race really starts to heat up.
Massive game here in the Western Conference, Carter. SPR has slipped out of playoff position on a 7-game winless skid, and then Reno 1868 went 16 unbeaten through the spring and early summer, but they've lost their last 2. Big opportunity for both teams to bounce back today.
Reno 68 have been a little bit off the boil in terms of their scheduling. They haven't played for just 2 games in the last 28 days, so it'll be interesting to see how they fare here today. And who are you looking at for this Reno 1868 side today?
I'll be looking up top at forward Brian Brown. As we've mentioned, Reno has struggled a bit of late, but it's not for Brown's lack of form. The Jamaican has 4 goals in his last 6 games. He leads the team with 9 on the season. If the visitors want to get back in the win column today, Brown will have to shoulder a leading role in that center forward spot.
Meanwhile, for the home side, it's a return to the Swope Park Rangers lineup for youngster Gianluca Busio.
And how good is this kid? 16-year-old, took MLS by storm 2 short weeks ago, delivering a man-of-the-match performance for Sporting KC in their win at the Houston Dynamo. And now Gianluca Busio set for his 7th appearance for an SPR side, eager to vault back up into the Western Conference playoff picture.
Just 4 points separate these two teams in the Western Conference race. A lot at stake here today between the Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868. Stick with us. We'll be back for lineups and kick. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. Swope Park Rangers getting ready to take on Reno 1868 FC. Swope Park Rangers currently in 9th place with 33 points. Reno 1868 in 6th place with 37 points. So let's take a look at the lineup, starting with the away side, Reno 1868. 6 changes made by head coach Ian Russell from their loss against Real Monarchs, which was 11 days ago. And Sam Cobson, it's been a bit of a rough spot for this team because they haven't played too many games recently.
It certainly has, but I think looking at this lineup, if anyone's able to single-handedly bring this team out of this little funk, it'd be Antoine Hoppeneau. 1 goal, a team best 8 assists this season. Plenty of MLS experience for that man. And then 2 guys on loan from the San Jose Earthquakes, and Eric Calvillo and Paul Marie in the midfield.
Meanwhile, for the home side, the Swope Park Rangers, head coach Paulo Nagamura making 4 changes from the 2-0 loss last week against Portland Timbers 2. In come Gianluca Busio, Jalen Lindsay, Amir Jidic, and Eric Dick, 4 players on loan from Sporting Kansas City.
Whole lot to like about this lineup with 6 Sporting KC players on loan, and Belmar, Busio, Kuzain, Jidic, Lindsay, and Eric Dick.
There is Ian Russell, one of the staunchest defenses in the league, as well as a good goal scoring record. 14 straight games with at least a goal for this Reno 1868 side. And we are underway here in Kansas City, Kansas. It's been raining for a couple hours and really is starting to come down pretty hard here now as Reno 1868 FC start with the possession and the kick. It's immediately turned over, and now here come the Swope Park Rangers wearing their traditional blue-on-blue uniforms. Reno 1868 lining up in the all-whites with the blue strip across the chest, and immediately the Rangers trying to get forward through Blackwood and Barry. Blackwood applying pressure, but it's a good turn. Reno 1868. Youngster Gianluca Busio getting involved early on. He forces this turnover, and now Barry has it, edge of the area. Hernandez, his pass just a little too slack, and it'll go back to the Rangers around the midway line.
Carter cannot understate how important a strong start is today for the Swope Park Rangers. 5 losses and 2 draws over their last 7 games. And for Paulo Nagamura, more than the results, it's going to be the quality of the performance tonight. We'll see.
Here's Brian Brown trying to stray forward. His pass in behind was intercepted well by the Rangers back line. Kuzain getting on it. He's another SKC loanee in the lineup here today for the Swope Park Rangers. Quite a few Sporting Kansas City players on display for head coach Paulo Nagamura today.
They really are. When you look at that midfield, Busio and Kuzain, 2 players who have been training pretty much every day with Sporting Kansas City, and Kuzain obviously really has made his way into that Sporting KC lineup, at least sporadically throughout the summer. Then you look up top, Carlton Belmar has gotten himself a handful of games, and it's hard to not give him a chance when he's done so fantastically well for Rangers at the USL level. 9 goals this season in 13 appearances. It's a young Rangers lineup, and one that will be looking to make a good impression on head coach Paulo Nagamura.
There's Kuzain with a lovely ball over to the right-hand side. Barry twisting and turning around his defender, trying to get a cross in. Just overcooks it out of play. Haji Barry, 8 goals, 4 assists on the season, leading the team in minutes, making his 22nd start. He's been a really good pickup for the Swope Park Rangers team this year.
He has, ever since game 1 when these 2 teams first met in their season opener March 17th at Greater Nevada Field. Kind of interesting, Carter, how these teams have met in 2 games that have brought us inclement weather. Obviously that snowy fixture in March in Nevada, the Rangers prevailed 4-3. Carlton Belmar and Haji Barry absolutely ran the show that day. And now we come to humid and rainy Children's Mercy Park. An obvious narrative today will be how these 2 teams handle this greasy surface.
There's Bilyeu, Justin Bilyeu finding Tyler Blackwood in behind. He spins on a nice little chop move, but just a little too heavy for him into the grateful arms of Matt Persano.
I think one of the reasons Tyler Blackwood has earned so much playing time under Paulo Nagamura this year is that he puts himself in these dangerous positions here. Obviously the touch lets him down a bit there as Matt Persano comes off his line to collect, but Tyler Blackwood, only 2 goals on the season, but it certainly feels like he's been more of a danger throughout the year and a solid contributor up front for SPR.
Here's Persano again getting on the ball. He's just making his 3rd start. Of course, Reno 1868, one of the notable absences in their 6 changes today. JT Marcinkowski was available for the Earthquakes yesterday in MLS, so he's unavailable here today. Keep an eye on Matt Persano throughout this one. Now Brown getting into some good space on the edge of the area. He's trying to bulldoze through a couple of blue shirts. And those couple of blue shirts were enough in the end to repel that dangerous attack from Brian Brown.
I think we've already seen some touches go a bit astray as players are finding their footing on this wet surface. Probably take the first 10 or 15 minutes for players to fully acclimate to that. SPR hasn't been training very much in these conditions as much of the summer has been hot and dry here in Kansas City.
As you mentioned, Sam, 7 goals in that first game in the snow as Bilyeu goes down in that 50-50 challenge with Hopino. Looks like he'll be all right as Hopino's cross goes all the way out to the other side for a goal kick. I think the neutral will be hoping for another 7-goal encounter between these 2 here today. As you rightly mentioned, conditions could well play a factor. Now Kuzain getting on the ball again. Hernandez trying to pop it in behind for Carlton Belmar. He's got plenty of pace at his disposal. He gets there ahead of Brent Richards. Sizing up Richards now. Belmar, step overs in the area. Carlton Belmar still going, trying to find Busio. Well defended in the end. Looked like that was Zach Carroll just about doing enough on Gianluca Busio. And now here come Reno up the other end. Hopino. Nice move one-on-one with Bilyeu. Creates some space. Lacroix coming forward to strike from his left back position. And it's only 5.5 minutes in, Sam, but some end-to-end stuff here between these 2 teams.
And we're going to get a look at vintage Carlton Belmar here. as he beats Janjigan with ease. Reno able to defend, but stuff like that make Carlton Belmar so difficult to defend. Such a menace going forward. And what set him free down that left side, there was a beautiful diagonal ball from Kuzain. Look for that number 6, the 19-year-old Kuzain, to do more of that this evening, as he'll have Belmar and Barry to look forward, making those runs down the wings.
There is the youngster SKC Academy product with his left foot deftly picking out Haji Barry, and Barry can run into some space. Nice ball in behind for Blackwood, and he finishes it off. What a move from the Swope Park Rangers. They take the lead.
Scored by Tyler Blackwood.
Like a knife through butter. SPR with an early lead and a dream start. And it starts with an incisive pass from Kuzain. We mentioned it. And then the first touch from Barry was fantastic. And Tyler Blackwood, cool as you like, his 3rd of the season. See another look at that terrific feed from Kuzain that sets this attack forward. Blackwood finishing with a plum. Wonderful start for Paulo Nagamura's men.
Well, that's the start of the tune that this team would have liked. The Swope Park Rangers.
Fans, goal scored in the 7th
1-0
minute
to
by
the good
number
in the 7th minute.
Blackwood.
As Tyler Blackwood gets his 3rd goal of the season.
With the assist from number 92,
You got to give
Haji
an
Barry.
assist to Haji Barry, but also to Juan Kuzain, Juan Kamal. Well, they talk about the commentator's curse, Sam, but that was one where you had just mentioned he might be looking for those 2 guys on the wings, and 30 seconds later it's in the back of the net.
Might have lucked out a little bit there, but.
Well, here come Reno 1868. An immediate response, perhaps. Brown strikes it, and Eric Dick stands tall. Brian Brown getting in behind, and Reno 1868 almost equalized immediately there.
As the cliche goes, you're always most vulnerable after you take the lead, and Brian Brown nearly getting his 10th goal this season here. It is an absolutely massive save from Eric Dick. He has to make this stop, and he does. Bilyeu there to clear. Eric Dick, the 23-year-old on loan from Sporting Kansas City. He's come in with a terrific professional attitude. Wonderful teammate in the locker room. A good start for him tonight. Team best, 1.14 goals against average for the Rangers this year.
Zane in towards Busio. Just popped up on him a little bit. Hacked away by Reno 1868. The Swope Park Rangers MO, pass and move. Just like the Sporting KC first team. Vertical integration that we've seen from Paulo Nagamura this season. Bilyeu finds a nice entry pass, and now Blackwood reaching behind him, digs it out, tries to find a pass for Busio. Again, defended at the very vital last second by that Reno back line.
Excellent footwork there from Blackwood to get the ball out from under his feet. Now Hernandez
charging forward, ripped it off Richards there, but Carroll was on the cover for Reno. Now Brown starting the game well, gets past Barnathan, sprays it out to the left-hand side. Here comes Van Aveck. Trying to dump it in behind there. Rangers do just enough. Sorry, that was Paul Marie looking for Van Aveck. Two wide men and switched wings temporarily for this Reno 1868 side.
Well, if you're neutral here, we've certainly had ourselves an entertaining first 10 minutes. Already shown signs of a track meet.
Hopeno. Wide right now with Brown. Back to Hopeno. He's got space, and he's just wide of the keeper's right-hand post.
Yeah,
Hopeno and Brown, you could tell that connection really starting to pay off here.
The connection is certainly there, but it's too easy for Brown, and it's too easy for Hopeno. Too much space there. A little bit of a soft spot for the Rangers on that left side. I'd like to see Barnathan a little bit closer to Hopeno there, and for Bilyeu to make Brown's service a little more difficult. Another wake-up call for the Rangers.
There's Eric Calvillo just getting a touch to that to put it in the path of Openo. He's willing to take players on. This time, Barnathan tackles it away. Felipe Hernandez playing it wide right with Jalen Lindsay, another young SKC Academy product. Oh, there's Eric Dick just about getting it away from Antoine Openo.
It's not the first time we've seen that from Eric Dick this season. Certainly not afraid to play with the ball at his feet. Colin Nagamura's heart might have jumped into his throat a little bit there, but no harm, no foul.
The brave Swope Park Rangers fans in attendance here today in this downpour. Also nervy there, and they've nervy again as Richards comes forward. He picks out a wonderful ball for Brown, and at the second attempt, he smashes it into an empty net. 1-1 here as Brent Richards creates the goal and Brian Brown equalizes for Reno.
Brian Brown will get his 10th of the season, but it all starts with that clever back heel from Openo to set Richards free down the right side. And it's far too easy if you're the Swope Park Rangers, but it's a terrific response for Reno. 1-1 after a wild 13 minutes here in Kansas City.
See the affection there and the thumbs up. The point from Brian Brown to Brent Richards. His 10th of the season, first on this team. And all things are level here in Kansas City.
Openo won't get credited for his 9th assist there, but certainly all started with his clever play into space for Richards. He did well to find Brown lurking far post, and now the Rangers come.
Belmar into the area, his cross deflected away, and the Rangers with a good response to go up the other end and get a corner.
A little less than a third of the way through the first half, and if we're treated to more of this over the next 75 minutes, we are in for an absolute treat.
Two teams that like to get after it. We might have 7 more goals on our hands here today. Hernandez will come over to take this corner kick. Curls it in towards the penalty spot, headed clear. And now the clearance completed by Seth Kasipli. Reno 1868 able to push out. They've now scored in their 15th consecutive game. There's Duke Lacroix winning the header.
You talk about Reno, get a foul at midfield there. Talk about Reno scoring several straight games now. They were obviously one of the best offensive teams in the league last season. We saw firsthand, Carter, when they came into Kansas City and gave the Rangers a 4-1 loss at Swope Soccer Village. Antoine Openo scoring in the first minute of that one. He ran the show that day.
Seems to be feeling himself in this game as well, creating that first goal for Reno 1868. We've seen him take several players on off the dribble already.
And then, Carter, how about this? Brian Brown, who started his professional career with the Philadelphia Union in MLS in 2014, scored his first MLS goal here at Children's Mercy Park against Sporting Kansas City in a 1-1 draw, August 1st, 2014. So 4 years later, he comes back, and with Reno 1868, he's got his team on the score sheet. And we're level after 15 minutes.
Just like this stadium, Brian Brown. There's touch in the direction of Openo, doesn't come off. So it's back with Eric Dick, who had to pick it out of the back of his net already. Eric Dick making his first start since July 10th for this Swope Park Rangers team.
He's been in one of those situations where he's been Sporting KC's number 2, so he's, the last month or so, he's been on the Sporting KC bench as Tim Milia's backup. Obviously a good experience to be doing that, traveling to MLS cities with the first team. At the same time, he'll be wanting to get games.
Ball forward for Lindsay, who forces Reno 1868 into backtracking, forcing another corner for the Swope Park Rangers side. Paul Marie tracking back there, able to defend that ball forward away, but he's given up a corner here. So again, Felipe Hernandez to take for the Rangers. 1-1 in the 17th minute. Stands it up to the back post. Bilyeu challenging. He gets a good header back into play. Edge of the area. Barnathan takes control of the situation and smashes it into the upper deck.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite sit for Barnathan there, does it? But that was it's a good little header there at the back stick from Bilyeu to keep the ball alive.
Well, it is really coming down here in Kansas City, Kansas at the moment.
This is just a hunch, but I think this is actually maybe an occasion that these players will be relishing. It's not every day that you get to play in these conditions, and while it may be hard to find your footing at times, there's a certain rush, a certain adrenaline you get playing in conditions like these, and so far it's contributed to a very exciting start.
Sure has. Maybe we'll see a few extra slide tackles in this game. See the players turn into little kids enjoying the game sometimes in these types of conditions. I think the fans will have enjoyed the start to this one, as you mentioned. In a back and forth affair thus far. There's a foul called by referee Matthew France. So Reno will again play it out of the back. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Simply just sneaks that by. Winds up being a good pass out to the left-hand side. Calvillo charging forward. Back with Lacroix. Barry defends that. Will be a throw-in deep in the attacking area for Reno. They can't keep it in play there, as Marie and Lacroix trying to combine down that left-hand side.
We talked about in the outset, Carter, this is a Reno team that has played just twice in the last month or so. A very bizarre outlay of fixtures. You don't see that too often, where a team will go the heart of the summer with consecutive bye weeks. Certainly been the case for Reno, but they've showed very few signs of rustiness thus far. For SPR, it's been kind of opposite. You know, games have been coming thick and fast. And the Rangers play at San Antonio FC next Saturday. That'll be a massive game here. Go a long way in deciding this playoff race. And then the Rangers are home for 5 straight here at Children's Mercy Park. That'll bring them through most of the month of September.
Zane whistled for the foul here. It's Brian Brown clutching his left leg. The Rangers, very backloaded home schedule, and then they had a game postponement early on in the season as well. And there's a yellow card
Ladies and gentlemen,
for Kuzain, the first in the referee's book here today.
I don't think there's any malicious intent there. Not too much wrong with the tackle from Juan Kuzain. He just catches Brown. I'm okay with the yellow card at the end of the day, but his studs weren't showing. Right call there from the referee, Matthew France.
So it'll be careful sledding now for the defensive midfielder for Paulo Nagamura's side, as just 20 minutes in. 70 minutes left to go in this one, and in these slick conditions, he'll have to be careful where he puts his feet the rest of this one. Nice sporting high five between two players challenging for the ball there. Brown will know now that that holding midfielder for this SPR team is on a yellow card. Thomas Janjigan striding forward on the left-hand side. His pass misplayed out of bounds. Jalen Lindsay will take the throw. Lindsay just his 4th game for the Swope Park Rangers and his first since May 26th. As he is another one of these players that has made the jump from the Rangers to Sporting Kansas City this season. It's one that certainly has impressed everyone in this organization, and bright prospect in U.S. soccer as well.
You say it, a bright prospect, but who could have seen the level of impact that Jalen Lindsey has had in this Sporting Kansas City team during the 2018 MLS season, already approaching 10 appearances in all competitions for that first team, and not only holding down a spot on the back line, he has played right back, he has played left back, so he's showing some versatility there as a defender. To do so at such a young age, he's playing well beyond his years, I think physically. Looking more like a 22 or 23-year-old out there, in all honesty.
It's a good idea over the top. Like Carroll was the one playing that forward from the back, but Dakota Barnathan sliding over on the cover. Helps the Rangers avoid a sticky situation there, and here comes Jalen Lindsey again. Back with Amir Jidic, who is in the team for the suspended Graham Smith. Another Sporting KC loanee who has played a ton of games for Swope Park Rangers this season, but he is out on yellow card accumulation here today. So that leaves it with this man, Amir Jidic. Not a bad option for Paolo Nagamura. Jidic making his 16th start of the season himself, and of course part of the back-to-back Western Conference Championship runs for the Swope Park Rangers team.
You mentioned those back-to-back Western Conference titles for SPR. And as I look around at the Western Conference standings, if there's a team that has legitimate aspirations and a legitimate shot at dethroning the Rangers and getting to the USL Cup final as the Western Conference's representative, I certainly think Reno is one of those teams capable of doing so. Their scoring pedigree, the way their fixture list sets up for them over the final few months, despite their last 2 losses on the trot, still 6th place and certainly in contention for a home playoff game. Although we've seen, Carter, that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot.
Good build up from the Rangers, and Busio charging forward on the left foot, just wide. The right-hand post, Matt Bersano's goal.
Good little run into the middle channel there from Busio. Isn't quite able to wrap his left foot around this shot and put it on frame. It's certainly hard to do so. Sometimes you feel like you struck the ball right, but because it's so wet out there, the ball doesn't quite hop off the player's foot like you think it would.
Billy wins the header here, and now Belmar has plenty of space on his right foot. Carlton Belmar. That one high and wide as well, but the Rangers press causing some problems at the moment.
Yeah, that's not something we've seen a whole lot of over the last month or so, is the Rangers being able to turn other opponents' mistakes into their advantages. And good stuff there, SPR creating a turnover in Reno's own half. Belmar skying that one, but I think in conditions like this, it's important to keep those shots low. You never know how they're going to skip along the surface. Make it hard on the goalkeeper. It's harder for them to get low and dive and cover ground when they're sprawling out to make these saves.
Certainly trying to test Matt Bersano. Talk about Eric Dick and the competition he has with Adrian Zendejas in the Sporting KC ranks, Swope Park Rangers ranks. This Reno 1868 side has seen a likewise competition between 2 young goalkeeping prospects, Kowski and Matt Bersano. Not too bad options to have there for Ian Russell's disposal.
And we saw Marcinkowski show out in that MLS homegrown game on July 31st. Played very well as the homegrown team played the Tigres U20s out in Atlanta.
The Rangers able to build past the Reno 1868 press. Move it now into the attacking half. Jidic wide right with Lindsey, keeps it in play. Finds Barry. Kuzain Trying to slot it in behind. Well read by Janjagin.
If you're Reno, I think you've been giving Kuzain a little too much space to operate. He's been able to, that's a good hustle there from Felipe Hernandez. Terrific stuff. How close was that? And that's something that head coach Paulo Nagamura is absolutely going to love. Hernandez, a lung-busting run forward, making it hard on Bersano. Nothing easy there. Terrific hustle from the young 20-year-old.
Here he is pressing again, forcing it back to Bersano. Flips it up. Bilyeu, who has won his fair share of headers over here on this near-hand side. Good to see Justin Bilyeu back into the Swope Park Rangers mix after came over in the offseason, but tore his meniscus before the season even began, and he's just finding his way back into fitness, making his second start, his fourth appearance on the year for the Rangers.
When you see a player suffer an injury like that, never easy to take, and obviously even worse when a player has just arrived at a new club trying to make a positive impression. Credit Bilyeu for recovering fairly quickly and getting some game time here as the Rangers push into the final third of the season.
St. Louis native, 2009 Missouri State champion. The draft pick 18th overall for the New York Red Bulls. Back in his home state. Well, here comes Jalen Lindsay busting down the right-hand side, trying to keep it in play, and it'll be a foul against the young right back for the Rangers. Good defending that time from Duke Lacroix to just get back into the picture there.
And there we see the physicality that Jalen Lindsay's capable of, though. 18 years old, but you certainly wouldn't know it as he powers down the right side, holds off his defender, Lacroix. A little too much contact for the referee's liking.
Still managed to pop that cross into a dangerous area. Seen some good service from young Jalen Lindsay throughout his time here. Bersano smashes this one past the halfway line. Barry heads it on to Hernandez. Specifically, that's a nice no-look pass there to find the feet of Brown. Now Lacroix. Some good Ivy League pedigree here in this team with Lacroix and Hopino, representing Penn and Princeton. Now Belmar, this is where he likes it. On the wing, one-on-one, now one-on-two. Trying to take those two players on. Using his strength, still Belmar. Now into the area, Carlton Belmar. Losing his defender, Belmar, surely! Well, Blackwood gets the goal, but Carlton Belmar, what an effort.
Rangers
It's two for Blackwood, two for the Rangers. They lead again, 2-1.
What can you say about this? Spellbinding stuff from Carlton Belmar. Multiple times you think he's lost out, but he beats both of these defenders single-handedly. Scoots down the left byline, cuts it back, and Blackwood is on hand for his second of the day and fourth of the season. SPR back on top, 2-1.
There's a knowing point from Tyler Blackwood, the simplest of finishes there. It takes the deflection. Not sure if Carlton Belmar will get an official assist there. He certainly deserves one, leaving two defenders in his wake, putting it on a platter. Tyler Blackwood, who has doubled his goal tally for the season with his 2 goals in the first half here today.
The confidence and the audacity of Belmar to even try to make that play. So many players would have turned around, played backwards to preserve possession, but Belmar just tail up in the mood there, leaving 2 defenders behind him. So impressive. Blackwood in the right spot, credit to him. I've said multiple times, the quality of his performance is more deserving of just the 2 goals that he had coming into the game. Now he's got 4, all four of which have come in this stadium. Now at the half-hour mark, Rangers with their second lead in the match.
Reno will have to try and come from behind for the second time here today. Richards back at his feet after his pass was blocked by Bill Yu. Lindsay clears it once and steps in front this time to draw the foul. Excellent turn of pace over those 5 yards there from Jalen Lindsay as he read the situation and draws the foul against Brian Brown.
Quite honestly, I'm a little surprised that Matthew Franz hasn't shown a yellow card there, as Brown caught Lindsay very late. Referee might have judged that challenge wasn't overly dangerous, but you can see it's reckless. It's a little clumsy there from Brown. Was never in a good position there to win the ball.
Perhaps maybe just surprised by the speed of Jalen Lindsay coming forward there. He's been given a final warning from the referee. Still just the one player, Kuzain, on a yellow in this game. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow @USL on Twitter. Here's Busio leading his man in midfield, trying to pop it in behind for Lindsay, but just a little too close to the on-rushing Bersano. A loose pass in the back, intercepted by Kuzain, but he's unable to turn it into anything for the Rangers. Jidic takes that one off the toes of Brown. Hernandez keeping possession well for the home side. Well, the Rangers just 2 points in their last 7 games, as you mentioned, Sam, and they've scored just 4 goals in those 7 games as well coming into this one. Certainly look to be back in form here in this first half.
Certainly, I think part of that may have been a lack of lineup continuity. Always going to be tough with Sporting KC players coming in and out on loan, and combination of injuries and basic roster shuffling from Powell and Nagamura as they try to navigate a busy summer. Hasn't been a whole lot of personnel continuity for the Rangers. I think when a 2-game winless skid becomes 3 and 3 becomes 4 and so on, confidence maybe starts to take a dip and you start to doubt your own abilities as well, and that can really affect your performance on the pitch, especially with these young players who are trying to make a positive impression and reach even greater heights. It can be tough. But a strong showing so far from the Rangers, who have defensively also looked a little bit more steady over the last 15 minutes or so.
Lacroix trying to good area. His pass intercepted. There's a shin guard loose on the field now. As what a pass this is from Kuzain, trying to pop it over the top for Blackwood. Thumbs up for Blackwood. Trying to cause problems with his pace in behind. Thomas Janjagin was there to just slide that one out of play.
And we saw Kuzain head up, as it has been throughout the season and throughout the game, and Blackwood obviously acknowledging the look. Kuzain sent him chasing down the field for that one, and now Rangers with the throw on the far side with Jalen Lindsay.
Deep in their attacking area, and just the young North Carolina connection there from Jalen Lindsay and Gianluca Busio, just into an offside position. Smart defending from Reno 1868 there. Watch highlights from every game of the 2018 season and stay up to date with news from across the USL at the league's official Facebook page, facebook.com/USL Soccer.
Well, Tyler Blackwood has become the Rangers' 12th player to score 2 goals in a USL match in club history. Dating back to 2016, of course, no player, Carter, has scored a regular season hat trick for the Rangers. So Blackwood has about 55 minutes plus change to maybe become the first hat-trick hero for the Swope Park Rangers.
Certainly looks in the mood here today, Tyler Blackwood, as his 2 goals have given the Rangers a 2-1 lead as we are in the last 10 minutes of regular time here in this first half. Long throw, Brown posting up expertly, and nothing given by the referee. He liked what he saw from Amir Jidic there.
I did too, quite honestly. Amir Jidic, probably one of the strongest guys on the field, if not the strongest. Him and Eric Dick probably be 1-2. Doing well to muscle off Brown there.
What a move that is from Busio. Left his defender on his butt. And here he goes, charging forward. Belmar. Again into the area, Carlton Belmar. This time Richards does well to get a tackle in, play it off Belmar and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's what you have to do, is what Richards did there. Just try to stay in front of Belmar. Can't let his pace beat you. Oftentimes Belmar will choose to take that wide angle instead of cutting centrally. He'll go in along the end line there like we saw him do not long ago, and setting up Blackwood's second of the day.
Richards leaves it, but Bill Yu was alert to the presence of Antoine Hoppeneau. Well, they listed it as a 4-4-2 coming into this game, Sam, but it really hasn't played out like that for the visitors.
Yeah, we've seen Hoppeneau kind of settle in on this right side, haven't we? And Brown operating kind of as the target man up top.
There's Van Aveck, who's been a lot more central, we were thinking, coming into this one. He and Marie putting pressure on Lindsay, so the youngster drops it back with Amir Jidic. Rangers lead the league in passes and passing accuracy. So passing around the back there. Barnathan's pass, however, inaccurate. Kuzain picks up the loose change. Lindsay. Najee Berry. Swope Park Rangers currently in 9th place with 33 points on the season. They've played a few games more than the teams ahead of them, so these games, especially at home, have some added significance to the Swope Park Rangers.
Absolutely crucial, and I think how the Rangers fare during their 5-game homestand in September will ultimately define the success of their 3rd season. Massive, massive games coming up. We're talking 6-pointers that could really shape the final look of the Western Conference table. And I think for Paolo Nagamura, what he'll be focused on the most is how this team comes together and gels over the final month or two, both individually and collectively. Obviously looking for that individual quality from his players, and then collectively, if each player does his job, you'd think the results will follow. We'll certainly see how it shapes up.
Meanwhile, for Reno, they've played the least amount of games of anyone in the playoff picture in the Western Conference, as Belmar does a good job defensively there, tracking back and forcing the goal kick. So Reno 1868, with that strange 2-game and 28-day stretch, they'll have a very heavy backloaded schedule here. And they've got 2 massive games coming up against rivals Sacramento and new rivals Las Vegas Lights.
Yeah, that'll be must-watch streaming, Carter, on ESPN+. 2 big games for Reno. Sacramento and Vegas, how about that Nevada derby, if you will. And like the Rangers, Reno has 4 straight home games during a 2-week span in September. Certainly points on the table for them.
Belmar stealing it away from Brown, and now the Rangers are streaming forward. Blackwood trying to pick out the run of Berry, and he's done so. Edge of the area. Haji Berry steps over twice, fires it in, saved away. Matt Bersano getting his angles right at his near post.
Excellent work from Berry there to put that shot on target from an acute angle.
Lindsay in for Busio. Just dragging Belmar a little wide there. So he'll reset through Hernandez. See how dangerous the Rangers can be on the counter with that front threat of the triple Bs up top. Killer bees in a swarm, as they say.
They've been pretty killer here in the first 41 minutes. Blackwood with a pair of goals. Belmar setting up the second. Barry setting up the first.
Those three really have created a good bond throughout this season. Here's Blackwood checking back, but it's good defending from Janjagin. He's won it back for Reno. I like the casual no-look pass there from Zach Carroll. Calvillo, he's found a good ball inside. Hopino. Spinning past Bilyeu. Still Antoine Hopino, but Barnathan tackles it away. The Reno danger man. See what happens in the stat sheet. Hopino coming into the game tied for 4th in USL with his 8 assists. We have just 3 minutes regulation here in the first half. Can Reno get a goal before halftime? Really change their team talk. Lacroix trying to get past Lindsay, who stood up well to that challenge.
We've seen Lindsay lock down MLS wingers this season. Does well there on Lacroix. Pretty routine for him, but Paulo Nagamura's men right now, you really want to go to the break with this 2-1 lead. You've probably been every bit worth it, as if you're Ian Russell's side. Certainly nothing to panic about.
Hernandez is dipping a shoulder to get around a defender. Striding forward, trying to play it in behind there for Busio. Just kind of in between 2 Rangers players. Chance goes begging for the Swope Park Rangers. Carroll back with Bersano. Spreads it wide left with Janjagin. Hopeful ball goes out of play along the far sideline. The rain has been relentless in this first half. The pitch has been holding up pretty well to this point.
Started raining here in Kansas City around 1:30 today. And as you alluded to, it has not let up. I think it had reached its zenith about 15 minutes ago. It's lessened ever slightly, but still coming down in decent amounts here at Children's Mercy Park. I think both teams have adjusted to the conditions fairly well here. No fatal costing mistakes made on account of the wet pitch by any means. In fact, it's been a pretty good first 45 minutes. End-to-end stuff. Both teams looking capable of putting the ball in the back of the net. Just like the first meeting of the season between the sides.
Of course, Sam mentioned the 1:30 start time for the rain. It was a 4 o'clock local kick. So there's plenty of time to pour down on this pitch here. So time for one more goal in the first half. Rangers trying to probe and find out, but Lindsay's pass intercepted by Kasipli. And now Reno has some numbers going forward. Good step from the Rangers,
The fourth
though.
official on the sideline has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute. of
One and an
added time
offside
for the
there.
first half.
Paulo Nagamura right in line with the back line. Screaming at the near side AR. Lindsay's got some work to do to get to this one, and he slides in expertly. Get that out from the feet of Paul Marie. 1 minute of added time here in the first half. Brown will force a corner kick, so the visitors have a late set piece to try and find an equalizer before halftime here, as we are into the final seconds of that 1 minute of additional time. And Avac to take this in-swinging corner. Good looking delivery. Barry just taking no chances there. He'll play it out for another corner.
Smartly done there by Barry. And
the referee has indicated the beginning of halftime.
The referee has whistled for halftime.
Well, much to the dismay of Reno 1868. They wanted to get that second corner in. Thought there was time, and the referee said no. So we will go into the halftime break with the score: Swope Park Rangers 2, Reno 1868 FC 1. It's been a back and forth affair here in Kansas City, Kansas. Looks like there may be more goals in it in the second half. Stick with us. We'll be back for halftime stats and analysis as SPR lead by a 2-1 score at the halftime break.
Head to the fan services kiosk on the concourse to claim your prize.
Halftime here in Kansas City, Kansas. Swope Park Rangers leading Reno 1868 by a score of 2-1 at Children's Mercy Park. Let's take a look at the halftime stats. What brought us to this 2-1 halftime lead for the Rangers. A couple of happy Rangers fans there in attendance. Brave souls in the midst of this deluge. And Sam Cobson, what sticks out to you at these halftime stats?
I think the Rangers have been fairly clinical today, Carter, and that has not been the case over the last 7 games. Only 4 goals scored during that time period, but 5 shots this afternoon, 2 turning into goals from Tyler Blackwood. I think the hosts have been smart and incisive in their possession. They've been on the ball. Reno, certainly nothing to frown about from them as well. They've remained dangerous when they've gone forward, so sets up for a fascinating second half.
Like there's plenty of goals in this one and plenty at stake as well, as these two teams fighting for position in the Western Conference playoff race. Come into the game, Swope Park Rangers in 9th place, Reno in 6th place. So Swope Park Rangers 33 points, just 1 point back from San Antonio.
Yeah, this look at the table right here says it all. Reno, the ability here to jump to 5th with a win today, and obviously SPR looking to hop into that picture that we see on our screens. It means a lot to both teams. Be eager to get a result today, and could go a long way in deciding how the final picture looks here in the West.
9 games after this one for the Swope Park Rangers, 11 left for Reno 1868. Let's take a look at some of those upcoming games for the Swope Park Rangers as we talk about that one next week. Looks awfully big for this Rangers team.
It honestly could decide the season if Rangers can go down to San Antonio and get all 3 points. Could really give them the confidence they need going into then what will become a 5-game homestand at Children's Mercy Park. Absolutely colossal matchup next Saturday in San Antonio.
For that 5-game homestand for the Swope Park Rangers. A lot to look forward to on their schedule. A lot to look forward to in USL right now as well. Let's take a look around the league as the 1,000th goal of the 2018 season was scored Saturday, August 11th. The 3-way tie for the Golden Boot race right now. Louisville City's Cameron Lancaster, Pittsburgh's Nico Brett, and Orange County's Thomas Enevoldsen with 13 goals. I tell you what, Carlton Belmar, if he played a few more games, he'd certainly be up there.
You'd have to think so. He's been fantastic every time he's put on his SPR uniform this season. Certainly the same today with the assist that we saw him set up. Tyler Blackwood's second of the day. Emmanuel Ledesma.
What a season he's had.
Leading the line for an FC Cincinnati team that just might be my pick to win USL Cup this year.
Just the second player in league history with a 10-10 season. What a season Ledesma is having. And what a game we have on our hands here today. The Swope Park Rangers leading at halftime by a score of 2-1. Stick with us. We'll be back for a nice little feature on Swope Park Rangers goalkeeper Eric Dick when we come back at halftime.
In his 71st career match with San Antonio FC, he's been with the club all 3 seasons, most consistent there on the back end.
I felt like my whole life I've always had to prove people wrong. Getting cut from the state ODP team when you're 13 because you're too small, and then in your club team you sit on the bench until you're 16 or 17 years old because you're too small. Everything kept referring back to you're too small. There's no better feeling in the world of being able to look at someone that told you no and to be able to say, I told you so. You kind of see it all when you go through times of playing, getting cut, being someone on the field, playing all the time. It kind of gives you a good grasp of where different players are and what their mentality might be. It's definitely shaped who I am. I wouldn't change anything for my career or for how it's gone. Not only have I grown as a player, I think I've grown as a man in terms of being able to deal with anything that I really think that's thrown at me. I think there's a bunch of different ways that you can be a leader. Bring my lunch pail to work every single day, and I try to get better every day. And if I have that kind of mentality and other people see me pushing, regardless of what we're doing, that's the kind of leader I want to be. This is my 3rd year here, and to be able to stay in one place and to really grow with it has been a tremendous honor, and it's something that I don't take for granted at all. Every time that I step on the field, I hope that I represent this club and this city. It's a privilege to play for such a passionate fan base. I'm Greg Cochran, defender for San Antonio FC.
Jason Johnson! You've got to be kidding me! Oh, what a finish! Prowling Spruce! Sunday the other way! Oh, what a goal! Near post! Oh, what a finish by Charlie Ward! And what a world-class goal that is from Didier Drogba! Great save for Strickland! Zipkin! Simon Stop! Must-see TV.
Halftime here at Children's Mercy Park in Kansas City, Kansas. The Swope Park Rangers leading by a 2-1 scoreline over Reno 1868 FC. And Eric Dick making his return to the Swope Park Rangers lineup for the first time since July 10th. I had a chance to take a little bit a look at an Eric Dick dance party.
I've watched so many YouTube videos of like dances, trying to teach myself like moves in my room, and I figured, you know, I have the time, might as well just go and, you know, try it out. You can be as goofy as you want, and it's applauded. Like, the goofier the better. Like, the more you go for it, the better. Every single class is different. Every song is a different one, different moves. It's just, you know, keeping your brain and body guessing. And that's what hip hop is. That's what dance is. It's always just challenging your body and having fun at the same time. It's so much fun. Once you do it, once you get your feet wet in that first class, I mean, you'll want to just keep doing it over and over again. I wish there was a class like every single week and I'd be going to it.
Sam, you think there are too many 6'5", 205-pound breakdancers out there?
I don't think there are, and I don't think it can hurt his goalkeeping. You know, staying light on the feet. Eric Dick, impressive stuff on and off the field. How about that?
Yeah, an interesting young man, Eric Dick. He's got his work cut out for him in this one, as the Swope Park Rangers will be trying to hold on to this 2-1 halftime lead that they have over Reno 1868. Stick with us. We'll be back for the second half kick in a Western Conference 6-pointer. Welcome back to Children's Mercy Park. The Swope Park Rangers with a 2-1 halftime lead over Reno 1868 FC. And let's take a look at what got us there as we take a look at the first half highlights. And it was a breakneck start to the game, end-to-end stuff. And how about this for an opening goal for the Rangers?
Tremendous vision from Juan Cusain to set this play up. And then Barry laying it off to the path of Blackwood. Make no mistake with finish there. 1-0 early.
Just 5 minutes later, Reno 1868 with the response.
And it was Hopino's back heel that played Richards clear. Easy square ball for Brian Brown, who puts home his 10th of the season.
1-1 at that point in time, but Carlton Belmar taking things into his own hands. What an effort to set up a second.
Ridiculously impressive run here from Belmar, doing it all himself along the left end line, and Blackwood's in the right place to finish for his second of the day and fourth of the 2018 season.
Officially unassisted from Tyler Blackwood. Seems cruel that that little deflection takes it away from Carlton Belmar. But Blackwood at the double in the deluge of the first half. That is the lead for the Rangers. 2-1. The rain keeps coming down, and this Reno 1868 team, you know they have plenty of goals in the side. Now have scored in 15 consecutive games. And Sam, what will the keys be in this second half for either of these sides to come away with all 3 points?
I think if you're Reno, it's making Rangers less comfortable in possession. I think SPR was a little too comfortable at times, found several pockets of space in which the likes of Kuzain and Busio were able to find forwards up top. So I think for Reno, it's closing down those spaces and then continuing to find your own openings going forward. They did a decent job of that. I think if you're the Rangers, continue to do what you have been doing, is finding those 3 killer bees up top. They've been excellent today. Blackwood, Belmar, and Barry getting the ball at their feet, isolating them on the wings if you can, because Reno will push men forward here in the second half in search of an equalizer, as we know they need one, obviously. So it all sets up for a fascinating final 45 minutes, and we've got a really, really dark rain cloud rolling in here over the stadium. No lightning yet, Carter. Fingers crossed that continues to be the case.
We are underway here in the second half. They have switched sides. The Rangers going from left to right now in their all blue strips. Reno 1868 in the white with the blue mountains across the chest. There's a slip on the ball, and Hernandez now charging into the area. Felipe Hernandez off the keeper. What a save. Matt Persano. He's kept this a 1-goal game inside the opening minute of the second half.
And what a huge chance here from Hernandez. As he comes into the box here, near post effort, Persano really doesn't even have to move. Just strikes his thigh and rolls out of play, but an ominous start there for Reno, who nearly pegged themselves back 2 goals.
Hernandez to take the ensuing corner kick. Up towards the spot, headed clear by Kasipli. Busio trying to curl one there from a difficult angle and just drifts out of play. Like the confidence to take that shot on from the young Gianluca Busio.
Carter, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that if you're the Rangers, or if you're Reno for that matter, is trying these shots from distance. You just do not know how the ball is going to travel, and these are now torrential conditions. This is about as heavy as it's come down all day long.
Really has picked up here.
Absolute deluge.
Just at the start of second half. Sam mentioning that dark storm cloud just coming over the stadium as we speak. We saw a slip on the ball there already here in the second half. Didn't see too much of that in the first half, but keep an eye out as conditions continue to just get wetter and wetter.
The field has held up here well. It's a field that has seen a lot of sunshine throughout the dry Kansas City summer, but stark contrast this afternoon.
It's a field that's seen a lot of games over the past couple of months as well with the Rangers and Sporting Kansas City. Also, U.S. women's national team coming here to face off against Japan. It's a nice occasion. Australia and Brazil also playing there in the Tournament of Nations. There's a loose ball into Lacroix, who tries to go near post, and he wasn't far away there, just over the crossbar from the left back.
Not a bad strike here from Lacroix. It's almost 2-2 as the ball skips fortuitously into his path. He goes near post. Eric Dick is beaten, but it's just not quite on frame, just over the crossbar.
Well, Duke Lacroix playing left back for Reno, but was an excellent attacker at Penn. 25 goals and 15 assists during his time in college. What a back flip that is, and what a save! Dick just gets an outstretched hand to it. Antoine Hopino thought he had scored.
Second superb stop of the day from Dick. Lovely setup there from Brown. But Dick makes himself big there. Spreads across, pushes the ball wide. Hopino thought he had his second goal of the season.
Big time effort from Eric Dick. Now he's organizing his back line to defend this corner. In towards the 6, and strong hands and a good leap from Eric Dick brings it under his control. Wasn't tested too often in that first half, Eric Dick. Just one save in the first half. Wonderful save here early on into the second, and good distribution as well, as we can hardly see the field now from our commentary booth.
It's remarkable. You can hear the rain pounding down now. It's quite a spectacle.
Barnathan trying to pop that over to Hernandez. It's a bit too heavy for the diminutive midfielder. And simply dribbles it past Haji Berry. So Reno can try and start an attack down the left. Now they'll go back with Thomas and Jageen. And now on the right-hand side, trying to exchange passes were Richards and Van Aveck. Simply now back to Richards. We're going to go all the way back to Matt Bersano.
Decent little start to the second half here from Reno. They had that early scare where Hernandez got in behind the defense, but they've carved out 2 opportunities since then, with Eric Dick called into action and then Duke Lacroix flashing a shot just high. Ian Russell will certainly want more of that, and he'll certainly be okay with balls like that.
Wonderful pass into the feet of Lacroix, into the area, finds a good cutback for Brown, and just can't bring that first touch under his control.
And you maybe think it might have been hard for Brian Brown to even see this ball coming in as Lacroix gets down the left, serves the ball in. Almost looked like Brown didn't even really know much about it.
Tough height there, kind of in between the knee and the shin. He'll be disappointed with himself. Brian Brown, excuse me.
This is the hardest I've seen it precipitate at Children's Mercy Park just about ever, and having come to the stadium to watch hundreds of games, quite a spectacle right now. Unbelievable.
Absolute monsoon at the moment. These two teams are playing under. See the tape from Seth Kasipli's ankles starting to unravel.
So when you have gradual rain throughout the game, usually the pace of the match is a little bit faster. The ball will skip. But when it really starts to rain, really, really hard, you start to get some standing water on the pitch, and things will actually slow down and the ball will get stuck in the surface, and we will see how this plays out here.
Lindsay exchanging 1-2 from the throw. His pass inside, a bit wayward. Brown wanted that one in behind. He thought he had some good position, but Jittich stepped forward to intercept. Bilyeu now streaking down the left. Barry, he's got a run on his man. Barry making the shot, now lines it up. Oh! Excuse me. That was Carlton Belmar. And how close was he there?
When he was given an alley and he exploited it. Carlton Belmar cutting centrally onto his right foot. And this is exactly what you need to be doing in conditions like this. Try your luck from distance. Make the keeper make a save. And Belmar didn't do that on that specific occasion, but he pulled the trigger nonetheless, and that's what I like to see from the SPR forward.
Full of confidence, Carlton Belmar, after that wonderful run in the first half to set up what is currently go-ahead goal. There you see the rain really starting to have an effect. The ball got caught up there along the far-hand side. Bersano drops that in excellently. Belmar in to defend, and it goes out for a throw. Deep throw, Bilyeu. Looks a depth in the air, doesn't he, Justin Bilyeu? And now the Rangers streaking forward. Busio into the feet of Barry. Busio carving some space for a shot. And again, doesn't trouble the goalkeeper at his near post.
2 or 3 times now where Busio has tried his luck from outside the box. Hasn't quite been able to put the ball on frame. And again, a player like him, he will rely quite often when he strikes it from distance, he will rely on the ball to move, and the ball just isn't going to quite do that in conditions like this.
Good defending from Dakota Barnathan there as he ushers that one out of play. Making his 10th start of the season, Dakota Barnathan, after starting the season on the outside looking in on the starting lineup. Berry. Oh, what a move that is. Haji Berry cleared off the line by Zach Carroll after Haji Berry with a bit of magic on the right-hand side.
Jaw-dropping bit of individual quality there from Haji Berry. He is going to blow by Lacroix here. It almost leads to SPR's 3rd goal, and Reno very fortunate that it doesn't. Good defending there, last ditch, Zach Carroll.
Good work from Hernandez to intercept from the throw-in, but Blackwood defended well by Janjagin and Lacroix. Now Blackwood being invited to chase. Janjagin with the header. Oh, that was a dangerous back pass from Lacroix, just past the outstretched boot of Tyler Blackwood. Rangers again with the high press, and they win it back. Bilyeu charging forward on his left foot. Ambitious, to say the least, from that distance. Blocked away, anyways, by a Reno defender. As Reno looking set to make the first substitution of the game, but for the time being, that the defender, Carlton Belmar, who's trying to get it onto his right foot, blocked away by a duo of white shirts. Will be out for Swope Park Rangers corner.
There are very few players in the United Soccer League who are as skillful and dangerous in those situations as that man, Carlton Belmar. Those step-overs there. Shot ends up being blocked behind, and now Reno will make their first change of the day.
Smoke Chow coming into the game. He'll replace Paul Marie. And not a bad option to bring in Mo Chow. A goal and 2 assists to his name so far this season for Reno. He has to spark the attack, but first trying to help defend this corner. Hernandez. Towards the back post. Bilyeu unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he smashes it over.
Excellent service from Hernandez, and Bilyeu waiting on the far side of the box. It's a very, very tough finish. He's always going to be asking a lot of himself to try to put that one on goal. Nevertheless, almost does so. Not a bad look there from Mr. Bilyeu. Rangers have threatened twice now in quick succession.
And again, using that press really effectively. Swope Park Rangers not allowing Reno out of the back, but there's a good step forward from Carroll, and just as he makes the good step, his pass intercepted by Jidic. Some space now for Lacroix. What an interception that was from Jalen Lindsay. Trying to slide that in behind. Like it was perhaps offside anyways, but Rangers keep going with possession here. Jidic finding Lindsay. He's putting the brakes on Van Avac there.
Well, the rain persists, but that dark cloud is largely passed over the stadium. A little bit brighter as we take a look west.
It was a couple of minutes of just an absolute downpour there. Hernandez reads that pass well off the boot of Lacroix.
Really like what I've seen from Hernandez. And SPR has been defending, very quick to pressure the ball.
Good one-on-one defending from Bilyeu, but it goes out for a corner, and whoever takes this corner may have some difficulties. As we see a nice bit of standing water over there in that far corner flag.
There's a straight up puddle right there. Best of luck. Whipping in a corner here, Van Avac.
Trying to find a little patch of dry land there. Jerry Van Avac. And that corner is going to be a tough one for Reno 1868 in this second half.
Looking at the opposite side of the field, neither corner flag inundated by water here for the Rangers, so a little bit of an advantage perhaps.
Jidic, cool as you like under the pressure from Brown. Now Bilyeu popping it over the top, just a little too far for Tyler Blackwood. The USL's official Instagram account has highlights, photography, and interactive content with the league's players. Get it all at www.instagram.com/USL Soccer. Here's the substitute, Mo Chow, driving forward. His pass behind his teammates. This game getting a little choppy now. Both teams struggling to piece together a few passes as we head into the hour mark here in Kansas City.
Not only are players coping now with the conditions of the game in the field, but the natural fatigue that sits in and all of these fixtures at around this time. Interesting to see Ian Russell has already made one change with Mo Chow coming on, and Colin Nagamura is still with 3 subs up his sleeve for SPR.
Barry just standing on that one to slow down the Rangers' attack. Kuzane coming back to get a few touches on the ball, and now Amr Jidic. Back with Dakota Barnathan. Rangers doing a good job at keeping the ball here, trying to draw this Reno 1868 team up the pitch. Eric Dick now. Poor first touch from Duke Lacroix when it looked like perhaps Reno could have something there off the misplayed Eric Dick pass. But after a few minutes of some scrappy play here, it's like what you see from the Rangers, just kind of slowing things down here and making the ball do the work.
I do. A little bit of a turbulent period there at the around the 50th to the 55th minute, but as you said, letting the ball do the work, settling into that possession-based style that Paulo Nagamura likes to employ. That'll be key for the Rangers, and something to keep an eye on is as Rangers do settle in possession and employ that style, it's going to be imperative that they are clean with the ball, because oftentimes what you see with teams like that is the chances that they do give up to their opponents result from their own giveaways in their own half. So Rangers will certainly have to be clean on the ball here over the last half hour.
Van Avac trying to find feet of Brown at the top of the D, and now it's cleared, but only as far as Eric Calvillo. Good cross in towards Brown. Dick spills the cross, but there aren't any white shirts lurking, and he's able to scramble up and dive on the ball. Decent cross in from the right-hand side for Reno 1868 as they search for an equalizer here into the final half hour of this game. Brown has found a good pocket of space. He's into the area. Brown, and he smashes it past Dick. Brian Brown on the double, and it's 2-2.
Brian Brown, second of the day. Quite frankly, it comes out of nowhere. 2-2. His 11th of the season. He escapes in on the right side of the box. It's a ball over the top from Carroll. Brown races onto it. It's a low drive on goal. May have taken an odd skip here on the wet surface. It's past Dick, who will be thinking about that one tonight. Nevertheless, 2-2. All to play for here at Children's Mercy Park.
So it's a brace from Blackwood and a brace from Brown. 2-2 the score in the second half. That allowed Ian Russell to make that second substitution. Eric Calvillo checking out. Guy Abend checking in, and he's checking in with the score tie.
Interesting how that goal arose, Carter. Like a fairly innocuous build-up with Carroll's long ball over the top to Brown. But again, when you test the goalkeeper in conditions like this, make them make the save, and that's what Brown did to his credit. Skips past Dick, and we've got ourselves a 2-2 game.
And now, here come Reno again. Deflection. And Dick using his entire 6'5" frame there to reach up to that one. Busio with a nice little flick into the path of Barry. What a challenge that is. Sipley sliding over here on the near side to stop that Rangers attack dead in its tracks. Busio upended. Van Avak charging forward now for Mo Chow, but Chow just dribbling through a couple players. Dribbles it into some trouble. Barry picking up the loose ball. Blackwood. He's got an overlap from Hernandez. He uses it. Hernandez trying to touch it around a defender. Lacroix gets a touch to it, so it'll be another Rangers corner. Felipe Hernandez, another opportunity to deliver from a set piece situation. Plenty of Rangers players forward into the area. Towards the top of the 18. Kuzane trying to clip that one back, and it'll just have enough spin to keep it into play. Bilyeu first there. Still alive from the second phase of this set piece are the Rangers. Belmar spreading play really nicely. Hernandez with some space here on the right-hand side. Hernandez still, and he's blocked away. Couldn't fool Thomas Janjagin there. Big center half able to read the intentions of Hernandez, block it away. Another corner kick for the Rangers. Ramp up the pressure after conceding the second equalizer for Reno. Hernandez towards the spot. Barry rose well. Just not quite high enough to keep that on frame.
Not a bad service here from Hernandez.
Substitution for the Rangers.
Whips it in with his right foot. Barry's there. It's always going to be asking a lot of him to leap that high and put a header on goal. And now, Rasenbeck Akhmatov, newly acquired midfielder, coming in for the active Hernandez, who really put in a good shift today. Plenty of energy expended. And now Akhmatov, who made his debut for the Rangers in last weekend's 2-0 loss to Portland Timbers 2. He's on for another game with his new club. Fresh legs in the midfield for SPR, and I think it's maybe something they need here over the last quarter of the game.
Akhmatov making his second appearance, as Sam just said. Signed on August 3rd. One of 4 new signings for the Swope Park Rangers over the past couple of weeks as they look for reinforcements down the home stretch. See what Akhmatov has to offer here in midfield as he joins Kuzane and Busio. And here's his first opportunity. Good first touch. Trying to slip it in behind for Busio, who is just offside. Near side AR with his flag raised. But a decent introduction into the game from Rasenbeck Akhmatov.
Very, very decent from Akhmatov, and it was a good first touch that sprang him free through the central channel. As we see here, Busio can't quite hold up his run. It's a good step there at the end of the day from Duke Lacroix. The flag went up, and rightfully so.
Went wide in the end from Busio as well. And here's a foul in midfield. Justin Bilyeu upending Antoine Hopineau. Pretty impressive, just the 1 yellow card in a game in these conditions. This Reno 1868 team, the second fewest fouls in the league and the fewest yellow cards in the league. They have played less games than most teams, but very well-disciplined team under Coach Ian Russell. Likewise, Swope Park Rangers, well-disciplined under Paolo Nagamura. Just the fourth fewest fouls conceded in the league. They also like to keep the ball a lot. That'll help in your fouls stats. Brown with a great post-up move inside the area. Laid it back into the path of Chow. The Rangers have enough bodies back, and now Belmar trying to dribble his way through a host of bodies, trying to slide it in for Blackwood there, and just couldn't quite get it into the feet of the Englishman.
So exciting when he embarks on those runs. Carlton Belmar. The mood that Blackwood has been throughout the day as Belmar's down holding his knee. Certainly not something we like to see, but the mood that Blackwood has been in today, those two have certainly been a treat to watch.
As we said, not a great sign here. Carlton Belmar kind of off the ball. Holding his right knee. Let's take another look at what happened after this. One more time, another lung-busting run from Carlton Belmar.
What we didn't see there was Belmar embark on that sprint up to pressure goalkeeper Matt Bersano. They have taken an odd step there in doing so.
That's just after he had sprinted with the ball from just outside his own penalty box as well. Carlton Belmar, former Rookie of the Year in the USL with Portland Timbers too.
SPR's all-time leading goal scorer with 24 over the last 2 seasons. One away from what you would consider to be a little bit of a milestone in 25 in an SPR uniform.
We like round numbers in the stats community.
Certainly do.
See trainer Jake Brownback giving the thumbs up to the sideline. Hopefully that means Belmar can continue in his quest for number 25 atop the Swope Park Rangers goal scoring charts. Certainly the Rangers will want to keep him on the pitch. He's been a danger man, as he usually is, for this SPR side this season. So as Belmar retreats off the pitch, the Rangers will temporarily play with 10 men, and there'll be a drop ball here, which Reno sportingly play back to Eric Dick. So we're back underway. 2-2 the score. 2 first-half goals from Tyler Blackwood, and a goal in either half from Brian Brown, as Busio is dispossessed and Kasipli streaks forward. He finds Brown, steams in a cross, but it's much too close to Eric Dick.
Catching practice at the end of the day for Eric Dick, the dancing man between the posts. His last 20 minutes or so sets up in a very fascinating fashion, as both teams will be very much looking for that winner, and I think both are capable of getting it. Oftentimes what you'll see is the visiting side come in here in a situation like this, be happy with the result, but I think given the way things have gone recently for Reno and a team that has high aspirations here in the Western Conference, they'll be wanting that final goal, and obviously the same can be said for the Swope Park Rangers, who will jump back into the playoff picture with 3 points today.
Yeah, you would think the 3 points at home for the Rangers, with the games that they have left to play, just played more games than most teams in the playoff hunt. These 3 points seem crucial, but like you said, the aspirations for this Reno team, as they try and climb up the Western Conference table. Busio's pass is behind the run of Bilgu. Get an inside look at life on and off the field from a player's perspective every Wednesday evening in the latest edition of From the Pitch on USLSoccer.com. 75th minute here at Children's Mercy Park. The rain really has gotten less and less over the past 10-15 minutes. Reno have grown more and more into the game in that time period as well. Here's Richards trying to find his teammate who had slipped in behind. That was Van Avac. Find himself in a nice position, but good defending by the Rangers. Busio under pressure just goes back to Eric Dick. But we saw his fancy footwork at halftime. We've seen him some fancy footwork in the box as well. That time Eric Dick took no chances with Brian Brown closing down. Newcomer Gaia Benz came onto the pitch right after Reno scored their equalizer here in the second half. Here he is on the ball. SPR just dropping that line of confrontation here. We've seen them press high throughout long stretches of the game. This is good buildup from Reno 1868. A good run as well. In behind now, Hopino. One-on-one with Bill Yu. Good tackle from the left back for the Rangers. And he wears a foul from Hopino as well. Somewhat silly foul there from Hopino, as Bill Yu really didn't have anywhere to go, did he?
Was, and it might have been a mark of frustration there from Hopino, who was well shepherded by Bill Yu, who I think has put in a pretty darn good shift there at the left back spot this afternoon. Good defending there from 24-year-old Bill Yu. Now Rangers will restart in their own half. The Rangers this season have gone into the 70, I should say they've gone to the last 15 minutes of matches tied on 7 occasions this season. 2 wins, 5 draws, no losses in those games.
It's a good record for holding on to a result, at least at this period in the game. There's a head injury for Carlton Belmar. He's had a rough couple of minutes here in the recent past. So the referee, Matthew Franz, stopping it immediately for this awkward landing.
We saw a stoic look there from head coach Paulo Nagamura. Probably a bit concerned from the knocks that Belmar has suffered over the last few minutes. Might have another change up his sleeve here in the very near term, Paulo Nagamura.
Reno get this thing back underway, and Carlton Belmar back on the pitch as well. Kasipli into the feet of Chow. Couldn't get it to stick, but does well to tackle it back away from the Rangers defender. And then Hopino looking for a foul along that far side, doesn't get one. So it'll be a Rangers throw. Bill Yu in for Belmar. Bill Yu standing it up. There's a missed kick from Carroll, but he had enough time to get it back to his goalkeeper as he originally intended. A tough chested pass attempt from Chow, but Akhmatov can't bring it under control, so Kasipli onto the ball, driving it into the feet of Brown. Good backtracking from Barry. Akhmatov, native of Chechnya. Wins that foul. Akhmatov has spent the last 2 summers with FC Miami City in the PDL. Moved from Chechnya to Strasbourg, France. Got himself involved last week. He had a team-high 14 duels in that loss to Portland Timbers, too. Lindsay now on the right-hand side. Exchanging passes with Barry. Lindsay with the cross just past Blackwood. Still alive for the Rangers. Great ball in for Bilyeu. Oh, and he's just wide when it looked like he might have the go-ahead goal.
Agonizingly close from Swope Park Rangers here in the late stages. We're going to see a superb cross whipped in from Jalen Lindsay. It's just beyond the reach of Blackwood, who's looking for his hat trick, but the ball is going to be recycled. Wonderful service from Belmar, but Bilyeu just wide of the post, and that'll be the end of the day for that man. It's a good showing for him, especially considering the fact that he's just worked his way back into the lineup. And there we see Parker Marr, who has made a positive impression over the last 2 seasons with SPR after arriving from St. Louis FC. He'll be in for the final 10 minutes in stoppage time.
So the Joplin, Missouri native checks in for the St. Louis guy. At left back, it's a like-for-like swap. He'll try and help the Rangers find a result here. So 1 sub remaining for each team as we enter the final 10 minutes of this game, with 3 points still very much up for grabs. And how close was Justin Bilyeu there to getting that go-ahead goal?
Agonizingly so.
But as we are, 2-2. Van Avak. Some nice work in midfield. Chow finds his fellow substitute Abend, who wears a foul, but Hopino spreading it out to the right-hand side. The double team there between Belmar and Marr to see off the efforts of Brent Richards. Reno again driving forward. Kasipli just trying to look off the defense. He finds Richards, squares it across, and he fires it home. Jerry Van Avak has given Reno the lead late on here. They lead 3-2.
Superb stuff from the visitors here. As Richards gets down the right side again, serves it across. Cool as you like from Van Avak. A simple finish at the end of the day, past Dick. And a devastating blow if you're Swope Park Rangers right now, as Reno find themselves ahead for the first time all afternoon. 82 minutes on the clock.
Well, he thought he might get a better knee slide than that, Jerry Van Avak, but he doesn't care too much because he's got his 6th goal of the season. That's good for 2nd on the team. Thumbs up to the bench. And a thumbs up from his coach as well, because that finish from Van Wolfgang, not his official name, but what he wears on his jersey, and he certainly pounced on that wonderful cross from Brent Richards to give his side the 3-2 lead late on. 2nd assist of the day from Brent Richards as well from his right back position.
It'll be one of the biggest goals of the season for Reno thus far. Coming into this game, wearing a 2-game losing streak, having endured a peculiar month of July and into August where the team didn't play much at all. Now they find themselves ahead 3-2 here at Children's Mercy Park. And now if you're SPR, it's absolutely crucial how you respond here. Find out something about the character of this team over the dying embers of the match.
Still 7 minutes plus stoppage time for either of these teams to find another goal, and Reno's charging forward. Guy Abend is upended by Kuzain. Quickly started, but from the wrong position, says the referee. How about that pass from Seth Kasipli as well to start that move for Reno?
I was just going to say, absolutely essential. Kasipli head up with the vision to spray that ball down the right channel. Absolutely instrumental in that build-up there.
It's a poor giveaway, and that leads to Parker Marr charging forward for the Rangers. Entry pass, finds Barry in some space. Busio helps it on. Lindsay across, and crucial intervention from Zach Carroll when it looked like Blackwood again was knocking on the door.
It's not a bad first-time ball there from Jalen Lindsay, and Zach Carroll with a bit of heroic defending there to keep his side ahead. The captain, get a look there of Reno 1868.
Back in the lineup today, Zach Carroll, and he's third in minutes. They like having him back. Reno 1868. Howells from the bench there. Looked like Jittich just tripped over the ball, and instead it's a foul given against Brian Brown. Lucky break for the Rangers. Let's see if they can take advantage. No, Jittich compounding that earlier mistake, and he passes it right out of play. You have to expect Reno will not be in any hurry to get these restarts back into play.
Looking at the Western Conference table right now, Carter, should the results stand, Reno would overtake Portland Timbers 2 for 5th place in the West. Of course, Portland playing tonight against rival Seattle Sounders FC 2. This would keep the Rangers a point out of playoff position in 9th.
Reverse pass from Belmar. Marr with the right foot trying to sneak it in. Right around the top of the box. Cleared away by Reno. Under 5 minutes to go in regulation. Can the Rangers find an equalizer? Belmar. Wonderful pass out to the right-hand side. Lindsay in some space, clipping it to the back post, and Richards, perhaps unaware of what was just behind him, taking no chances. He clears it out for another corner for the Rangers.
Yeah, he had to be sure, didn't he? Brent Richards. 2 assists to his name today. Certainly has played a part in why the visitors find themselves ahead 3-2. See what Busio has here on his right foot.
It was Hernandez taking corners for the majority of the game. Busio now. Jittich had a free header. Just headed it back right where it came from. Tough technique there. Jittich running away from goal, trying to get it back
for Reno in the 87th
frame.
minute, leading the game, number
That will
99,
allow for the final substitution for Ian Russell in this Reno 1868 side. And
replaced by number 12,
it'll be a
Daniel Mazowski.
welcome return to the bench for Brian Brown, as his 2 goals, 2 equalizers as well, have really catapulted this Reno team to their 3-2 lead at the time being.
We looked at him in the outset of the broadcast. Brian Brown being a central figure to this Reno team, and he's certainly played a massive part more today. 2 goals to his name. 2 of the 3 goals that Reno have put behind past Eric Dick this afternoon. As the rain resumes again.
Rangers upset because they thought there was a foul there on Kasipley. Ref saying he played advantage. Berry bring it out of bounds. Now it's offside, and the Reno bench was right in line with that one. They don't like the call against the newcomer, Denny Mazowski. Substitute just into the game and just into an offside position. Decent option off the bench for Mazowski as well. 5 goals this season for Reno 1868. Akhmatov trying to play it into the path of Marr, but have the accuracy that he wanted on that long pass. Jittich steps forward. Akhmatov into the feet of Busio, who's overtaken by Kasipley, and now Kasipley just dumping it into an area, inviting Mazowski to chase. I was asking a lot from the number 12. Time running out for the Rangers. So they had 2 leads in this game, but now trail by 3 goals to 2. Belmar, well escorted there on the far side. Belmar has had quite the game. That time couldn't quite get past the captain, Zach Carroll. Now a bad challenge for Carlton Belmar as he lost possession, and he'll be the second player to the referee's pocketbook.
Yeah, ultimately a booking of frustration. Belmar there losing out on the far sideline. Catches his defender late. Now we enter the final minute of regulation here with SPR down 3-2. They've led for most of the game, haven't they? But find themselves in a precarious position here.
Into the final minute of regulation, hearing that there will be 4 minutes of added time. Is that enough time for the Rangers to grab a point from this game? Bersano lifts it up high into the rainy Kansas City skies. Lindsay. Wide right with Berry. Couldn't get his feet sorted. Oh, you can hear that tackle from Haji Berry.
I think it was a fair challenge there, Carter. Berry gets a whole lot of ball, and I think simply just suffers the worst of it.
The fourth official on the sideline has indicated
his credit,
there will be a
simply
minimum of 4 minutes of added time.
Howled in pain, but jumped right back up to try and get back into the position.
I think they may have just kind of struck the ball at the same time.
And as he was doing that, the fourth official raising the board to indicate those 4 minutes of additional time. There's a good layoff. And again, it's Brent Richards charging down the right-hand side. Mazowski in plenty of space, but his first touch is too loose and allows Eric Dick to get back into it, and the Rangers still have a chance here.
Still a pulse here for the Rangers. Let off the hook a little bit there as Richards was looking for his third assist. And certainly almost had it. Mazowski unable to corral that one cleanly. Still a glimmer of hope for SPR in these final 3 minutes.
Jidic. As Kuzain drops deep in between the center backs, trying to pull the strings here. Time running out for the Rangers. Just almost in behind there, well read by Janjagin. Popping it up over the top, and Chow is onside, but Dick reads it well, comes off his line. Busio popping out on the right-hand side. Back inside for Kuzain. Akhmatov. It's a good ball from Marr. First time cross. Blackwood charging in. What a tackle. Janjagin there again.
That's the type of defending that Ian Russell will love to see here in the late stages from Reno 1868 as they look to close this one out against a Rangers side that will push men forward in search of a last gasp equalizer.
Lindsay into the feet of Kuzain. All the way back now with Barnathan. Akhmatov, clever footwork to split the double team. Laid off to the path to Berry, he's onside, and he fires it home!
Rangers goal!
Right at the death! The Rangers find an equalizer!
What a moment! And this just might be SPR's biggest goal of the year. Rasenbeck, superb through the middle there. The layoff from Blackwood is excellent. Berry stays onside and finishes into the roof of the net. 3-3 after 93 in Kansas City. Absolutely thrilling stuff.
Hands up from the Reno defenders, but nothing given from the near side assistant, and Haji Berry peels away in the celebration. His 9th goal of the season.
Once again, Rangers goal scored by number
And Tyler Blackwood will get the assist to add to his impressive stat line from this evening. But what about that from the substitute, Rasenbeck Akhmatov?
Yes, absolutely the catalyst of that one. Shouldering off a challenge, showing the strength and then the quality with the pass through the lines to Blackwood, who did so well. Now here's Belmar.
Sliding it forward. Marr, plenty of shirts in the area. And offside is Parker Marr. Carlton Belmar livid. But what an opportunity that was for the Rangers as they just found the equalizer and piled bodies forward trying to find a winner.
Breathless finale here, Carter, and we talked about it from the outset. These two teams, when they first met in March, a 4-3 victory for the Rangers at Greater Nevada Field. They meet again. We've been treated to another 3-3 thriller. Absolutely terrific stuff we've been treated to throughout the afternoon.
Bersano takes the restart, flicking it up. Chow flicking it on. And that is the final whistle in this one.
Final score, Rangers 3,
An absolutely thrilling Western Conference match between the Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868. And it ends with a point apiece as 3-3 is the final score here from Children's Mercy Park.
At the end of the day, I think it's a fair result, an absolute barn burner here in Kansas City. That man playing an instrumental role, Tyler Blackwood, 2 goals and an assist. And when you look at what Reno did through Brian Brown's brace, Carroll's 2 assists, excuse me, Richards' 2 assists. A well-played game from both sides. 2 teams who will have wanted more, undoubtedly, from this one, but it's a fair result at the end of the day, and now Reno remaining in 6th place, a point behind 5th place Portland. And Swope Park Rangers have drawn even with San Antonio FC, whom they will face next Saturday down in Texas.
Sets up a tantalizing match next weekend for Swope Park Rangers. Reno also with some key matchups ahead of them, but they played out a 3-3 draw here today in Kansas City in the rain. 3-3 the final score between Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868. Stick with us as we'll be back for final stats and highlights. Full time at Children's Mercy Park. And a really fun encounter. The Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868 split the points. And let's take a look at the final stats from this really fun game played out in the rain here in Kansas City today. And what sticks out to you, Sam Cobson, from a really thrilling matchup between these two teams?
Something that sticks out to me right off the bat, shots on target, 5 each, and 3 goals each. Both keepers today making 2 saves from the 5 shots that were put on frame. It's always going to be difficult for the keepers in these conditions, and that played out today.
Well, thanks for everyone for tuning in today in this USL Western Conference matchup, the Swope Park Rangers and Reno 1868. It was a wet and wild one here, and you see a wet willy there as well to go along with it. With 6 goals between these two teams, the Rangers had the lead twice. Reno 1868 striking back with 2 equalizers, and they took the lead as well late on but a last-minute equalizer from the Swope Park Rangers through Haji Berry is enough to split the points here in Kansas City. For Sam Cobson, Brad Zimmerman, Jordan Burrell, Jason Riley, the rest of our all-star crew, thanks for tuning in full time here. 3-3 between SPR and Reno 1868.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.